that people will know that yes, we are active and we are good to go. Thank you. Welcome, Mayday.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited to be here, and first thing first, I just want to say that welcome to day 2 of the creative chat, and like you said, I'm going to be giving us a short, let me say, I want the class to be interactive first of all. So I want to give us a short introduction to tech careers, and I'll just take us through a whole the old stuff on how you can choose your tech careers and the type of tech careers that we have out there and all of that. So you guys are welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's chit chats because I wasn't able to join, but I saw people's reaction. I was glad, and I was hoping that I'll be able to share my screen with the class. So I don't know, since because I have a slide for us to walk and take us through. Well, I think because I'm not
I think you should be able to do that.
Yeah. So I'm going to start sharing the class, my screen now, so you guys can see. So who can see my screen right now? Can anyone see?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Welcome to day 2. My name is Ayomide Miriam. So I am a brand strategist, a creative designer, and a website designer. So I run a creative agency that offers different creative design services to people. You can also follow me at Miday's Design on IG. So let's just get right into it. So for this class, should I call it class or seminar? So we are going to be exploring careers in tech. So this is a comprehensive guide that will take us on, how you can choose the kind of tech careers that are out there, as I mentioned earlier, and others. So I have an outline that's going to guide us through this. So first, we're going to be going through the categories of tech careers, then the educational part, where you can learn and how you can learn tech skills, and how you can start and advance your tech career. So just 4 basic outline. So let's get right into it, so we won't waste a lot of time. So for the categories, right? I'm sure everyone that is here is either already into tech, is that we are already creatives, or we are aspiring to go into tech. I'm sure that's why you're listening to me right now. So I like to tell people, I like to say that tech careers can be broadly divided into 2 major categories, because there are some tech careers that are so deep into tech, you have to learn coding and all of that, and there are some tech careers that it just has to do with the creative aspects, the popular graphics design, UI UX, and all of that. So into 2 categories, right? So the category 1 is the creative design and oriented tech careers. Like I said, the graphic design aspect, the creative design aspect. And the category 2 is the technical and specialized tech careers. So let's get right into category 1. For the creative and design oriented tech careers, these are roles that has to do with the visual aspect, the user experience aspect, and the creative aspect of tech. So people that are into graphics designing, or if let me just assume that everyone that is here just wants to learn from scratch and you want to learn the careers that we have in tech from scratch. So under this creative design oriented tech careers, we have graphics design, which involves creating content for various media, including logos, websites, and marketing materials. So you need, for people that are into the logo, creating of logos, websites, marketing materials, like any visual aspects. So they fall into the creative design oriented tech careers. So you can decide that, oh, you want to be a graphics designer. That's the tech aspect. That's the tech category you want to go right into. Then another one is web design, which focuses on designing layout. I'm sure like most of us already have like an idea of what website design is, but I want to just like go through it. So like it just focuses on designing the layout of visual appearance, like, usual interfaces and stuff. So for this one, oh, I forgot to mention, for this graphics design, there are lots of softwares now that you can use to like achieve anything that you want in graphics designing. So this Adobe Creative suite includes like the Photoshop, the popular Lightroom, Photoshop, After Effects, anything like Adobe. So anything like you can use, and again now we have the ones that you can easily use on your phone. We have Pixel Lab for flyer designs. We have Canva. You can just use anything to like actually any of these softwares to actually achieve your graphics design career. So just make sure you learn the right one for you and for the resources that you have available. You can go into any of these softwares. You can go into learning any of these softwares and become very, very, very good at it, that even the person that is using like the biggest laptops out there won't be able to compare someone that just used their phone to create a flyer or even a logo. So it's just how like, just make sure any software you decide to go into, you master it well. Then that's just like from there you can just do anything that you want. So now for from the website design I was talking about earlier. So it's just like designing the layout for websites and like eventually like putting it out there as a website. So you can either like decide to use tools like Figma and like learn coding and understand HTML and CSS and all of that. Or you can also use platforms that do not require coding like WordPress, Wix, Shopify, and the rest of them. There are lots of websites creating platforms out there that it doesn't require coding, and there are some that require coding. And so there are some, if you want to just be an UI designer alone, that you just want to like design website interface and like give it to people that would like, change it and make it go online. That's for the UX. Then you can decide to go into that. So I've already touched on UI UX design right now. So you can use Figma for UI UX design. You can use, so there are lots of ways that you can actually go. You can go about like creating websites. So it depends on the standard at which you want to go about it. There are even like smaller ones like Bumper. I don't know if anyone is like, if someone knows like about the bumpers, but there's something called Bumper that out there that you can use to create. You can use to create all these commercial website designs, just mini website designs. So it just depends on how deep you want to go and just the type of thing that you want. So there are lots of options right there. So far we've discussed that if you want to go into tech, you can decide to become a graphic designer, a website designer, and UI UX designer. So the next one is motion graphics and animation. You can decide that you want to go into animation. You just sit down on a project, create animated images or videos, for people that for clients that need to put information out there about their business and stuff. Like you can just decide that you want to become a motion graphics and animation, like that's the path that you want to go. You don't want to do logo, you don't want to create flyers, you don't want to create websites, you just want to be someone that will create animations for a living. So you can also go into motion graphics and animation. It's also a very lucrative skill to have right now. So now for the brand and identity design, there's some people that is just solely on branding. They just specialize on creating visual identities for brands, selecting colors and all of that, making sure that brands come correctly. You get so you can decide to become a brand identity designer, anyone like that you have. So far that's all under the creative design oriented tech careers. Yeah. So now for the category 2, we have the technical and specialized tech careers. So now for under the technical and specialized tech careers, these are the ones that are focused on solving technical problems. These ones are the ones that do bigger jobs and more technical aspects of tech, in general. So we have the software development. So you can decide to become a software developer. So it involves, like it said right there, it involves programming and developing of applications, software, and systems. So you can decide that, I want to become a software developer today, and you just need to go to the right place to get the right skill, and you can just start and sell yourself effectively. You can decide to get jobs online, like international job serves online for your software development. All of these skills you can get international jobs for, which I'm going to eventually talk about towards the end of the class. But for now, I'm just saying you can decide to become a software developer. Just want to be designing softwares, and that's all. You don't want to be designing logos or flyers. You don't want to be doing that aspect. You just want to design softwares for people or for organizations or for individuals that need software. So the next one is data science and analysis. So for this is focusing on analyzing interpretation of data. To be honest, this is also a very broad aspect. Data analysis is also a very broad aspect. Like they need lots of people in that in that field. Yeah, so you can decide to actually go into data analysis and learn different. there are a lot of roles under data analysis. Like I said, it's quite broad. It's not they are not as broad as data analysis. Data analysis is quite wide. You can decide to go for data. You can decide to be a data scientist. You can decide to be a data analyst. You can decide to be a data engineer. So it just depends on the one that you want to go for. To be honest, it depends on the one. Just
Okay, I don't know. For some reason, I think we lost her. And before she
I'm
gets
back.
back,
I don't know what happened, but I'm back.
Okay, I think maybe it's the network.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
All right.
So let me just. I don't know where this stuff stopped. So I don't know if it's where I
You were
think.
talking. You were talking about data science analysis and all stuff like that under category 2, technical and specialized tech careers.
Yeah. So yeah. So let me just continue from there. So you can also decide to go into cybersecurity. This is for people that goes into roles that to protect data and cyber threats. Because we're in a global technical world right now, and you can easily get hacked into big organizations, big banks, big a whole lot of big brands need to secure the data, needs to secure their own personal online whatever. They need to secure all of this. They need to secure their sites. They need to secure their apps. They need to secure things that will make their clients or their customers have a good experience with anything that they have, like any of their online platforms. So you can decide to go into cyber like security, and you just like work for organizations that need data protections. So that one is also like broad. You can decide to like explore those roles. The roles include cybersecurity analyst, technical hackers, security architect. So it depends on the one that just make proper research before you go into any of these things. Just make proper research because it is necessary. And I'm going to like still talk about how you can go into like tech and all of that. So let me just keep that and just continue talking about the tech careers that we have. So you can decide to go into IT support and network administration. So this is the administrative like aspect. So you can decide to become a network administrator, system administrator, IT support specialist, people that actually have to do it talking with clients and all of that. So you can decide to also like IT support in terms of you can decide to like go into programs that you have quite a good amount of knowledge on how to solve problems in big companies that has to do with IT, all these IT companies. So you'll be like, you can decide to become part of their IT support specialist, where anytime they have problems or anything, almost like cyber security aspect also. So you can decide to go into it soon. So we also have the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So it focuses on creating and applying AI. Now, like AI is kind of taking over a whole lot of things. So there is also a way that you can make yourself relevant and use like AI in your advantage and go into AI research and like applying this AI platforms that we have now and resource that we have right to into your own tech career and make it a whole tech career by itself. So it just depends on your kind of interest, the kind of thing that you like doing and all of that. So those are the careers that we have under the technical and specialized tech careers. So now for the next thing is the educational part and learning resources. So this big English just means like where and how you can learn tech skills, because now that you like have an idea on the type of different tech skills that we have, you will need to know like where you can learn them from and how you can acquire these skills, right? So but before I go ahead, I don't know if anybody have like questions about the tech careers that we have that I've mentioned, like any question about them. I don't know if you have this, just
Please, I have a question.
and address that, or if
Please, I
not,
have a
we
question.
continue. Hello,
Please,
did
I
you?
have a question.
Okay.
Hello. Um, please, can you like shed more light on the data analysts and data scientists?
Yeah.
That's aspect.
Okay. So now the data scientist is that like I don't know if you guys know, like I'm sure you guys have an idea on what data is, like knowing specific numbers and informations and take like you need every organization needs data. They have data, they need to be able to process their data in order to be able to employ like a whole lot of strategy. They'll be able to work with that data that they have, that they are trying to analyze. For example, let me use an example. For example, for a bank now, let me say for GT Bank, for example. So they need to know the number of clients that they have. Number one, they need to know the number of clients that they have that are just entrepreneurs that work by themselves. They need to know the number of clients that are 9-to-5 workers. They need to know the number of clients that have maybe that work from home, for example. So, for example, all of these are datas, right? Then you need to be able to they need people to be able to analyze this data and give them actual numbers. They'll turn all these informations to numbers. So when they need to like create strategy, like marketing strategy. Now, for example, if GT Bank have, like, let's say 80% of their clients are 9-to-5 workers, right? So they won't know unless the data analyst, if they like, until they have like data analyst, people that analyze this their data and all of them and process it into which person's microphone is on, please. So they need people that will analyze this data into numbers for them. So when they need this information, like they need a strategy, for example, they need a strategy on how to market their bank now, for example, since they know that 90% of their clients are 9-to-5 workers, the strategy that they will employ would go more into the 9-to-5 like strategy. Let's say, for example, they need to make an advertisement now, and they know that 90% of the people that use their bank are 9-to-5 workers, or they are bankers or whatever, they are 9-to-5 workers. They would create the advertisement in a way that a 9-to-5 worker can easily relate to. I'm just using that as an example. So all of these data that they have, they need people that will continue to analyze it for them, that will make that will keep all of them in track and continue to like give them information. Because right now we are in the world of information. You can go online now and type how many people are old in Nigeria. It doesn't just appear there. There are people that are data analysts that turn all this simple information that we input, like when we go and register our SIM and all of that, that it like turn all these data into numbers. That's why we have like, oh, this is the number of people that are pregnant in this year. This is the number of people that got sick this year. So all of these are information that turns into numbers. So they need data analysts. So you can decide to become a data scientist, a data analyst, or a data engineer. All of these have like just slight differences. They have slight differences. Data analysts can be people that analyzes it. Data scientists are more into like studying those informations. And data engineers, I'm not sure about data engineers, but it's that analyst and scientists I'm sure of. So I hope that answers that person's question.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's continue. I think if no one has any other question, let's just go to the next. So how can you learn? Now you already know the tech skills. And for further research, you can use all of these things that we've like discussed so far to guide yourself on the kind of tech skill you think you'd be interested in. But now that we have a knowledge on the tech skills that are available out there, so how can you learn it? So you can decide to learn it online. If you are the type of like, oh, I can learn these things online, I'll be fine. Then you can decide to learn it online. There are different ways you can learn online. You have online courses. You can learn it through YouTube. You can learn it through platforms that have like videos and information, educational information about these tech skills. Or you can decide to just like go for online courses, apply for online courses, and like go through it. So all these like online courses, you can use platforms like Udemy, Coursera, Udacity. All of these platforms have already like well detailed classes on different tech skills. Even the one I might not have mentioned in this class, they have all detailed classes. Some are videos, some are like, I think they use the combination of videos and written. So, and some even make you take classes, they will ask you to do things and like take assignment, gives you assignments and all of that. So you can use any of these platforms to learn. You can decide to pay. Some have scholarship that you can apply for, and some offers sometimes free courses. So you can make research and just go. And you can decide to just go through the YouTube route. But most of the time, if you are going into the second group of tech skill, most of the time you need like a proper start, so you won't be confused. But it just depends on the resources you have around you. Maybe you don't have money to start yet and all of that. You can start with free YouTube videos to have ideas and to start either ways. So you can also join online classes. There are lots of people that have like these tech skills already, either on LinkedIn, either on IG, that offers online classes. This might help because these online classes will be someone talking to you one-on-one. It won't just be like YouTube, that you just go on YouTube and play, and even if you have questions, you can't ask. But these online classes, especially the ones that are live online classes, when you have questions, you can easily ask, and it's just a better way to like direct you through the whole thing. So you can decide to learn online, and those are the method you can learn online. Yeah, so for the next one, you can also decide to learn offline and design the merit. You can decide to learn offline. You can decide to go through the formal education routes. Like if you're not yet in school, or maybe also go back to school, whatever, you can take degrees in computer science, information technology, software engineering, all of those things. You can check them out and apply for them, formal education. So you can learn from scratch. But to be honest, you can also learn all of this like in academies, which takes me to boot camps. So you can have like intensive short-term programs focused on specific skills such as coding, data science, or web development. Examples, we have a lot, not few ones. We have a lot of tech academies in Lagos. So some of them include like Tech Studio Academy, Global Tech Academy, Digital Skill School Academy. Some of these academies also offer like online classes, so you can check them out if it's something like maybe you're looking to improve your own tech career and your tech skill, or you want to even change your tech skill. Maybe you're tired of the one you're in, it's not lucrative enough. But I just feel like there's no tech career that is not lucrative. It just depends on how far you want to build it. So you can just check all of those things out and just help. So now starting a tech career, now you already have like an idea on the type of tech careers that we have out there. So you already also have like an idea on how you can learn this stuff, whether online or offline, and you can decide to learn through both online and offline, because there's always need to top up your knowledge when it comes to tech. So now starting a tech career, first thing is you need to identify your interests. That's to launch a career in tech, you need to identify your own interests. We all know that our strengths are different. Some of us likes to talk. Some of us likes to draw. Some of us are interested in anything that has to do with visual stuff. Some of us, like when we see flyers or logos or branding, it excites us. And some of us are so good with coming up with like strategies, marketing strategies. You can decide to, since you know how to design, you can go into branding, and you can also advise these brands on how to like promote their market. So you can decide to become a brand strategist like me. So you can decide to do a whole lot. You can decide to combine different skills and just like, just identify your interest. It just all depends on you. Just know you first, know yourself. Because when you know where your strength lies, you'll be able to like break down on the type of tech career you want to go right into. Because if you know you don't like drawing, if you know you are not interested in anything that has to do with visual representation or whatever, and you decide that, oh, I want to become a logo designer, you might be miserable. You might just, because even people that have like love for this stuff, when it becomes a job, like something that you have to do, you get tired of it. You get really tired, because once something becomes a job, you get tired. Just now imagine if you don't have any interest in it and you decide to go into it, unless you're a very determined person though. But I still feel like for you to be determined enough to go into it, that means you still have an interest. But if you know you don't have an interest at all in any of this stuff and you decide to go into it, might be a little bit tougher for you. But anyways, if you have the determination, you can go into, just know your interest. And I'm sure any interest that you have, there's a tech career out there for you that is waiting for you. That's one thing I'm sure of. So now, gain relevant skills. Like I said, just enroll in courses, boot camps, watch online videos, join tutorials. But yet again, you need to also know what you want to do, because if you don't know what you want to do, you just be all over the place. Today you join a class on website design. Tomorrow you join another person's class. Today you join a Photoshop class. Tomorrow you are joining a pizza. You are just everywhere. It's good to know a lot of skill. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if you're not giving yourself time to grow in those skills before you move on to another one, you just see that at the end of the day, just have different ideas on all of these things. Nobody knows you for anyone. So you need to give yourself time, like be strategic with how you are learning the relevant skill that you want. Give yourself time to breathe. Like just make sure you're always on trend too. Make sure you always check what is trending. I mean, if you want to learn graphic design now in 2024, and maybe 10 years ago you heard one brother saying he uses CorelDRAW to design, and you decide that, you want to start your tech career in 2024, you want to use CorelDRAW to start your tech career, that's just crazy. So you need to know what's going on. You need to know to make proper research on things, as tech is evolving very fast, as all of these careers are evolving very fast. You need to evolve with it. For example, for data analysts, before, like maybe 10 years ago, we do use something called SPSS, but now it's another program that they're using to like process this data, and I don't even have an idea on this, because the one I used to know was SPSS. Now it's just a friend of mine that was telling me like the new stuff that they are using. There are different new softwares that are out there. But because I knew that SPSS, if I want to start my data analysis, whatever now, and I want to start with that SPSS, that means I'm just backward. So you need to keep yourself in trend. You need to make researches before you go into it, and make sure you gain relevant skill. That's when it's called relevant, because if you decide to gain skills that are not relevant, it might just be a waste. Although there's nothing you cannot build on, but at the same time, just make sure they are relevant, please. Then build a portfolio that is showcasing your projects and capabilities. I mean, I know it might look tough to source for clients, but once you gain any of these skills, make sure you practice with dummy projects, like projects that maybe you just go to the internet, get an inspiration, create a business name from nowhere, create an identity behind this stuff, and make it look like a real project that you work on. You can share it on your profiles, you can share it on IG, you can share it on anywhere. Just make sure people know that, you're learning this thing, you now have this skill. Then you can now even build a portfolio around it, showcasing your projects and capabilities. So make sure you just gain the relevant skill and showcase it. Is a very important. Unless you want to be a low-key designer and maybe you want to be working for just like organizations directly, then fine. But still, you don't know what tomorrow might entail. Showcase your project. So now, source for clients. You cannot just learn these skills and just leave it like at that. I mean, you need to source for clients, and there are different ways that you can source for clients. As I mentioned earlier, you can decide to work for organizations directly. You can decide to be a graphic designer for an organization directly. You can decide to be a cyber security for a organization directly, data analyst, any of them. But if you want to also create a portfolio for yourself and put yourself out there and become a freelancer, you don't want to work under anyone, make sure you create profiles. So just make sure you create profiles on different platforms. That's not platforms, it's platforms. On different platforms such as LinkedIn, Upwork, Pinterest, Instagram, different profiles, and just make sure you build on these profiles. You post on those profiles, you post things that are relevant. If it's like a professional career you want to build with your tech skill, LinkedIn can be a good place to start from. If it's a freelancer career you want to build, Upwork, Instagram can be. So it just depends. Just make sure you showcase your work either ways, because you always need clients. You always need, even if you're working for an organization, put it there that you're currently working for an organization. Share projects that you have worked on, and make sure you constantly update your portfolio, so you can, anytime you need it to share it, it's always up to date. So network, that's the next process. Network, make sure you are out there, join tech communities, attend meetups such as this, connect with professionals in the industry. Don't feel too little. Even if you start this month, connect with people. Even if you've started 10 years ago and you feel like you're no longer in trend, still connect with people. These people will take you back on track. You might not follow people, follow creatives online. Follow each other, follow creatives online. Other projects will ginger you, other people's projects will ginger you. But if you are not following any creative and you wake up in the morning, the first thing that is on your timeline is just all the things that is there is BB Nigeria, all this that is there is just like one crazy stuff, you won't get inspired. Follow people that inspire you. Follow people that are in line on the kind of tech skill that you want to go into. Follow them for inspiration. So once they post, you feel inspired to try something new to, and network with people. It can just open doors for you. So you can also apply for internship. There are a lot of paying internship out there. People that you have a little bit of the skill, but you still need to learn more. You can apply for internships and paid internship. They will pay you and you still learn it from them. So just to build you and your resume and just your industry knowledge in general, just make sure you build yourself. Make sure you're out there to start your career and to maintain it. So now career advancement. So now for career growth, just as I mentioned, continuously update your skills. You need to, things are changing almost every day. New things are coming up. Update your skill. Make sure you're updating your skill as often as you can. Even if it's even if you are just a Photoshop guru, make sure you're updating new trends, you're updating yourself with the new things that are coming up that you can do with Photoshop. I just feel like if you have Photoshop, Figma, there's nothing you can, or Illustrator, any of them that you're using, there's nothing you can do on Photoshop that you might not be able to even do on Illustrator or on Figma. Only that, Figma, you can create website interface. But at the end of the day, you can also create websites. Some people also create website interface with Photoshop, if you don't know. So just keep updating your skill in line with whatever is in trend, right? So even if it's just Photoshop you want everybody to know you as a Photoshop god, just continue to upgrade that, unless you don't want to advance your career. So just continue to update your skill, continue to network, continue to put your work out there. You can then, when you learn to a point, you can also impact others and all of that. So you can even employ others, teach them and employ them. Then from there, you would use the opportunity, that time break, to advance yourself on other skill. So so far, like, career in technology offers numerous opportunities and paths for growth by acquiring the right skill. Like I mentioned, make sure it's a relevant skill or tech. Yes, I know all tech careers are like relevant, but make sure you see a future with it. Make sure like it's something you are interested in. Make sure it's something that you have interest in, so you can help you to be like easily successful. Then network and stay adaptable. Yes, don't be rigid. Just don't think, I already know it, I don't need to learn from any other person. And this person just started yesterday, how can I learn from them? Please don't be rigid. Even if the person just started yesterday and you see them doing something that you don't know how to do, learn from them. It's not hard. Then you can build a successful and rewarding career in this dynamic field. Tech is very broad, so you can easily get lost in it if you're not careful. But at the same time, you can easily be successful in it if you just do the right things. So I think that's all for this class or this chat. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You really said a lot of things. I believe at this point, if they probably will have questions, they'll be limited because you've taken time to break down everything that concerns tech career, from what it
Can
means
I ask
to
a
how it
question?
works, and all of that. Yes, of course, you can ask your questions.
Okay, so I wanted to ask concerning this tech career. Now you said we can learn online. So if somebody learns online or offline physically, but not in an educational institution, and he gets a certificate from that institution, let's say like Udemy now, you get a certificate from Udemy. Can you use that certificate to source for physical and online jobs?
Yes,
For
definitely.
instance,
Yes, you can. You can use it. People source for jobs without certificates. Like, people source for jobs without certificates, with just their portfolio, with just what they can do, what they can physically do at that point. People source for jobs and they get it. Talk less of you that actually go and like enroll in one like online course, and especially a course platform that a teaching platform that has like name. I mean, you can definitely source for jobs. Definitely, just make sure your portfolios are intact. They are like very very. It shows your main skills, and it gets, just make sure your portfolio are intact and your resume is like properly and detailed and very detailed, properly done and detailed. Just make sure your resume and portfolios are on fleek. Then the many things will follow. So
okay, thank
I
you.
have a question. All right. So any other
Okay.
question?
I don't know if any other person have question. I also have a question, but I don't know if somebody here has a question. Maybe they should go ahead. Let me give room for others to also talk. And does anybody have any question? All right. While we think about our question, I have a question. I know you've been able to break down everything for us. You've taught us a lot this evening. So my question is like, how will you advise someone who's just starting a tech career? Meaning, how will you advise them to start? Like, where should they start from? What should they do? Someone that does not know anything about tech career. Right now, you've been able to teach them that this is what tech career is. These are the various fields. These are places you can learn from. But really, how do you start in your own personal experience? What do you think will work so that the person can avoid the mistake of sorting out for things that are not relevant? Like you said, you should always pick a niche that is relevant, maybe something that works in the future. Because when I believe that some tech career skills that in the next 5, 8 years, they might not really be needed because of the involvement of AI and stuff like that. So, how do someone start in a time like this? How will you recommend, or what will you say that some how the pattern that we should follow? Okay, let me put like a guide that we should take if we want to start a tech career skill.
All right. So thank you. Um, like I said earlier, like I tried to like highlight some few points. Personally, to me, you need to, like I said, you need to know yourself. You need to know what you like doing. I like to tell people like tech actually found me. I didn't even go in search for it. I just saw that I naturally gravitated into like doing tech. So it's just something that you should just make sure that any type of strength that you have so far, let's say you like I said, I think I've even mentioned for you like talking, you like marketing, you can come up with stuff. Go into a tech skill that would involve marketing, that will involve you bringing up marketing strategies and all of that. If you know that you are the type that you like data, you like to source for information, you love to sit down and analyze data, go for a course tech career that would involve that. So it's just first thing first, you actually just need to identify your own interest and know yourself. So now I don't know the kind of tech career that you might be looking to like enter. Like there are lots, as I've mentioned, or anyone at all that you want to learn. Personally, I feel like you need a bit of a physical class first. It might not be like one-on-one class, like it might not really be one-on-one class, but you need a bit of physical class. It depends on how the kind of tech career that you're going into. If it's logos, designing of logos, designing of flyers, designing of all those ones, you can easily join online courses and classes. You can easily join it and like learn the basic skill. But at the end of the day, you still got that basic skill. Then when you get a basic skill, you can now like just improve yourself on porn. Then you can use other like online platform like YouTube and all those kind. But you need to be able to even know where to start. But let's say, for example, you're someone that like you have limited resources, you have limited time, you have limited whatever it is, and you want to probably, for example, you want to start learning with YouTube. You can just make sure you put like easy, like how like beginner's guide of like, let me say, data analysis beginner's guide, or how to. So you need to just be able to know how to input these research words that will make you like get videos on how to actually start this like learning these tech skills. Or if you're the type that have resources enough to like join online classes, and you can also look forward to join like that, like I said, like there are scholarships for some of these online academies. There are some that have scholarship that you can actually get these classes for free, and there are a lot of online classes served for free on IG. So it just depends on the kind of tech, but there are some tech skills that, to be honest, you kind of need a physical like start. You need someone to just teach you the basics, someone to guide you on the basics. Then you can now start improving, especially when it comes to coding. It's not as if you cannot learn it. If you know you are very intelligent and you can learn online for free and you'll be fine, you can do that. You can go through using of YouTube, you can check, you can download online courses for free, the ones that run scholarships and all of that. So you can do that. But if you are the type that know that you want to know like all this stuff, you want a professional to actually teach you. So in the future, you will need just be updating yourself like in the nearest future, maybe in the next 1 year, like once a professional teach you like the trend right now, you know that you're just building yourself and building your skill. Not that you will learn a bit from YouTube, then like your brain might just be scattered, because you might not learn it in the manner and in the order at which you should learn it. But at the same time, there's nothing impossible for you to learn on YouTube, to be honest. There's nothing you cannot learn on YouTube, on all these like online platforms. There's nothing you cannot learn there. It just depends on your ability to like process what you're thinking and what they're teaching, the ability to understand things. But if you know yourself, that's why I say you identify your interests and know yourself first. If you know yourself, you know you're the type that you cannot easily like start, you cannot easily understand what someone is just pressing on laptop. You need a basic you just need to go about it in a way that it will suit your own strength on how you can, and again, it depends on the skill you want to learn. Then once you start, just make sure you keep on sourcing for the right client, or keep on improving your own tech skill. You need to keep practicing, because practicing is what makes us know what we know. You need to keep, if you just learn it and you say, oh, next year I will start practicing, I bet you by next year you would know what you want to press in that system. So immediately as you are learning it, be creating solutions, be creating projects, practice until it just continue practicing forever if possible, because there's always a new thing, there's always a new trend. Continue to practice and source for the right clients. You can source for the right clients on IG. You can just decide to create, oh, I want to start my tech career today. Create a profile. Temitayo UI UX design. Tapo UI UX design. You can just design, create all your name and your surname in a simple format. Impute what you do or what you intend to do, even if even if not started learning the skill, what you intend to create a profile, start posting things, then create learn the skill. Any practicing, as you're practicing, you're just learning, input it there that you're just learning. Let them know that you're just learning. Show them the process of you learning. Show them what you've done. A good start when your followers can follow up on how you learn and everything, it makes them trust your ability more. So just put yourself out there, source for clients. You can, then when you've learned your stuff, you can now start promoting your post and all of that to, like, gain followers and gain clients. Then once you can decide to become like a professional and just apply for jobs online or offline anyhow. You can decide to join LinkedIn so you can connect with professionals and source for jobs, or you can become a freelancer and source for jobs on Upwork. So I just think that's it. I think that's it. Just identify your interests, learn the skill, and advertise yourself. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for clearing that up. I really, really appreciate your time with us. I don't know if anybody other person has any question, but for me, that's it. I really appreciate the time you spent with us today, um, talking about all of this, how to build up our portfolio, what we should do, the guides we should follow, and how to start, because that's always the big thing most of the time, how to start. You've been able to break that down for us and give us a lot of insightful sessions on that. And by God's grace, you brought down all of the niches that we could pick from, all of the I think you broke it down into two when you were teaching. Let me check my notes. I think you broke it down into technical and specialized tech careers, and then what's the other one
Creative.
coming? Yeah, creative and design oriented tech careers, because most of the time people don't really know that, oh, being a designer, you are also a creative, you're also into the world of tech. Becomes like an argument. But then you've been able to clarify all of this stuff, and you've been able to bring a lot of ideas into the making, letting us know that yes, there's a world for somebody like us out there, and there's always room for us to come in. And there's a lot of things we could, do, a lot of possibilities we could exploit. And then definitely we need to have the zeal and the faith to want to do what we are doing, meaning we should not just pick any career because of the fact that uh, there's money in it, because in the moment it becomes work, you might get tired. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you need something that you already have the zeal for, so that when it starts becoming stressful, hectic, you still have the passion to push on. So I want to say very, very big thank you to you, Midday Design. We are really happy to have you with us today. Thank you so much for a wonderful session.
Guys, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the classes, or let's say chit chats, whatever. So I'm glad I'm able to come here today and discuss this with you guys. So thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll continue from here tomorrow, and by God's grace, we'll have another great instructor in our midst tomorrow. So please, let's prepare our hearts, our minds to learn. Tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. tomorrow, we'll be talking about data analysis as our topic, which means if you know that's where you're heading towards, that's where you're focused on, have a great instructor, a great speaker tomorrow, Mr. Timmy, and you'll be breaking down everything. I remember somebody asking a question about data analysis earlier. Don't worry, tomorrow you'll get all the insights you need on that topic. So for me, this is good night. Catch you guys tomorrow.